Okay, let's talk about something that's, well, it's really, really tough. There are few sounds more heartbreaking than hearing a loved one with dementia scream or cry out. It can just leave you feeling completely helpless, maybe even panicked. But I want you to know you are not powerless. We're going to walk through some real, compassionate ways to handle these incredibly difficult moments. This right here. This is such a powerful way to think about it. This isn't something they're doing to you. It's not a personal attack. That crying, that screaming, it's a distress signal. It's really the only way a brain that's having a hard time making sense of things can tell you that a deep, important need isn't being met. So you see, the second we start seeing it as a distressed signal, our whole job just flips on its head. We stop trying to just quiet the noise, and we start trying to understand the message behind it. And when we can learn to decode what's really being said, we can actually turn a moment of total chaos into a real opportunity to connect and bring some comfort. Now, before we can even think about what to do, we kind of have to put on our detective hats. We've got to investigate the why. Why is this happening? Because if you just jump straight to a solution without understanding what's causing it, well, it's probably not going to work. The most important first step is just to pause and observe. And honestly, the range of causes is huge. It could be something physical, like arthritis pain that isn't being managed well. It could be emotional. Maybe they're seeing something that isn't there and they're scared. Or they're just frustrated because they can't do a simple task. It might even be the room itself, a blaring TV, too many people talking. It can be completely overwhelming. But here's the good news. A lot of these triggers can be dealt with without ever having to reach for medication. Okay, so what do you do when it's happening right now, in the moment? You need an emergency toolkit, right? So let's think of these next steps as your immediate first aid for bringing comfort and just calming the situation down. First, and I know this is the hardest part, you have to try to stay calm. Your anxiety can actually make their agitation worse. Use a soft, gentle voice, maybe a gentle touch if they're okay with that. Second, observe and listen. Are they grabbing at their stomach, pointing at the window? These are vital clues. Third, check the absolute basics. Do they need the bathroom? Are they thirsty? Could they be in pain? And finally, if all those physical needs are met, it's time to try to distract and redirect their attention. So what does distract and redirect even look like? Well, the key thing to remember is that you're not using logic here. In dementia, the part of the brain that handles reasoning, it's just not working the same way anymore. So arguing or trying to explain is not going to get you anywhere. Instead, you're changing their focus by engaging their senses and their emotions. You could just say, I think it's time for a snack, and gently guide them to the kitchen. Or, hey, could you help me fold these towels? Simple, repetitive things can be so, so calming. Sometimes, honestly, just a change of scenery is all it takes to break that cycle. All right, so that was the immediate, in-the-moment first aid. But the real long-term goal here is prevention. We want to reduce how often and how intense these outbursts are. And that means we need to shift from just reacting to being proactive about how we set up their day and their environment. Your very first proactive step is to team up with their doctor. It's so important to look at the whole picture. Ask the doctor to review all of their medications, and I mean everything, including over-the-counter stuff and supplements. Side effects can absolutely cause distress. You'll also want to make sure any pain is being managed well and ask for a depression screening. Depression is super common, and it's also very treatable. Next, let's think about their world. How can we make it less stressful? A predictable daily routine can be a huge comfort. That structure really helps lower anxiety. A calm, quiet space minimizes that feeling of being overwhelmed. And keeping a simple journal can help you spot patterns. Remember being a detective? If you notice the crying starts every day around 4 p.m., maybe there's a trigger right there that you can start to work around. Look, this is one of the single most demanding challenges of being a caregiver. It will test your patience and your spirit, for sure. But I want you to remember that every single effort you make to understand them, to soothe them, that is a profound act of love and connection. Let's just end with this thought, because it really changes everything. It's so easy to think our job is to fix the problem, right? To get to silence. But what if success isn't that? What if success is just a shared moment of calm? A gentle handhold, a quiet minute listening to an old favorite song together. It's about providing comfort, not a cure. And please never, ever forget this. In the middle of all the confusion and all the noise, You are their anchor. More than any strategy, more than any technique, your calm, your loving, and your patient presence is the most powerful and healing tool you will ever have.